this society and its global economy now, it is unsustainable. There is catastrophe coming. We're at a brink, and we gotta act soon. Really gotta act soon.
Got to educate the people. The only reason you're almost free now, if you work for it, is because we've educated all these people.
Okay. My name is Jack HERER. I'm co-founder of Help End Marijuana Prohibition. In 1973, Captain Ed Adair, who owned a countercultural store, Grateful Dead-like store in the San Fernando Valley, became my mentor. And we learned that from kids that would hang around there that marijuana was also known as a plant called hemp. And I thought, well, that was interesting. One night, Captain Ed and I stumbled upon an idea that hemp was the #1 source of paper, fiber, fuel, food on Earth of the 3 million plants. Forget smoking it. That historically, this plant had been known since time immemorial as man's #1 plant. All the paper. I never knew paper had been made from marijuana, been made from the plant called hemp. I never knew that virtually all clothing, all bed sheets, all homespun, that famous American homespun was all marijuana. 85, 90% wasn't wool, wasn't cotton, wasn't jute or sisal or flax. It was hemp, marijuana. And all this has been kept out of my education. I went to public school, high school, and into college. I was a major in history. And I had never known that marijuana had ever been used for anything, let alone 85% of everything, for the last 10,000 years, right up until this century, and was the #1 thing known by kids 100 years ago that went to school. I use a dictionary, an encyclopedia, and the United States Government Department of Agriculture, because it's all there. More was written about cannabis, hemp, than all the other plants that we had, wheat and corn and barley and rice. More was written about hemp. Hemp was that important. It was virtually all our clothing. There are no known deaths from marijuana. You live longer, according to the Jamaican study, Costa Rican study, funded by the United States government, and American studies, all done from the 1960s and early 70s, before they cut it off in 75. We live longer, the people that smoke pot, every day than people that don't do drugs at all. And 8 to 24 years longer than people that use alcohol and tobacco. You got to be out of your mind not to smoke pot once you know that information, and you got to be really mad at the government that's kept this information from you. Marijuana has some strange effects on people, but the worst of them that I know is you get the munchies, and you might put on some weight. I mean, nobody's dying from marijuana except the people that are shot by the government, shot by the politicians, giving police orders, and crazy parents who think that they're doing God's will by listening to these politicians without any documentation and proof that this is a dangerous drug. The #1 contributor to the Partnership for a Drug-Free America is Budweiser, the largest beer company in America, and then followed by other beer companies and the pharmaceutical companies that want to keep the synthetics on the market. They want to keep those toxic medicines on the market. Henry Ford, in 1941, built an automobile completely out of hemp, and the windows and the body and every part of it except the engine out of hemp. He predicted that all cars be made this way. It had 10 times the impact strength of steel. It was the finest plastic. Of course, hemp has the longest molecule. Hemp isn't just another plant. What I said before is it's greater than all the other plants that grow on Earth combined for paper, fiber, fuel, and it's the only one that grows it without pesticide or herbicide. You've got to be insane not to put this information into your children's minds, because to put any other information is you damning your children, you condemning your children to a life that's going to bring death for them and their children. The government's a liar. So this is not new. You can go into the encyclopedia, you can go into the dictionary, and you can go into the history of all the plants and come up with the greatest plant and the healthiest thing for the human race. and that's hemp, marijuana.
You got to educate the people.